Okay, Vicki, if you mind doing us a favor, can you go onto the website and see if we are actually live streaming through the live stream one? Okay, welcome members. Excited to wrap up the 912 EAT standards today. Thank you for all your hard work and for coming back to join us. As I mentioned, we're gonna tackle some follow-up items, chief among them the parking garage and anything your leadership team would like to cover, as well as work on the grade-specific introductions and the overall introductions. In terms of our statement of necessity, the Tennessee State Board of Education Math 912 Educator Advisory Team called an electronic meeting at 3 p.m. Central today, August 6th, 2026. This meeting is called to continue proposing revisions to the ELA standards. Due to the time-sensitive nature of the committee's agenda and the fact that committee members reside across the state, it was determined that a physical quorum of members could not be assembled in Nashville again for the purposes of this meeting. And as such, it should be conducted electronically. Notice of this meeting was posted on the State Board's website, along with the agenda and instructions for accessing the meeting. Okay. And with that, I'll pass it to your fearless leaders, and I will start the screen share. Just tell me where to go.
Hey, everybody. It's good to see everybody again. I think the easiest thing for us to start with in the parking garage is the, well, actually, I think Beth marked it in the spreadsheet. It's the new A1NRN standard. It's in line 9 of the spreadsheet. And I think Beth's question was, do we split this parent as we had gotten into the practice of doing, or are we content with the way that it currently reads as a parent and 2 sub-parent or 2 sub-standards?
Mindy, am I in the right place? R9.
Hang on, I'm having to go between windows, so yes, yeah.
Okay. And yeah, y'all tell me what to do. I'm happy to move around.
So oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it seems to make sense to get rid of the parent because we did that in most of the cases. This must have been before we did that.
Yeah, I think it was like one of our very first standards. So it was before we were in the practice of removing parent standards.
How many other instances of a parent with subs are there? Are we proposing to get rid of all of them?
That's a good question. I don't know the exact number of parents we still have, but I do know they exist in the seeing structure category. And I think there was one other category, if I'm not mistaken, but I do know they still exist. And I do know that it was not like something that would be easily dissolved out of being a parent and seeing structure, I think. Let me see if I.
Yeah, I agree. So with that in mind, I think it's okay as is. If we want to dissolve the parent and separate it, I think we can. But I don't think we should feel compelled to do that simply because we had done that later. We will still have some standards that are in this form. And so I think it's okay.
Yeah. Just for everyone's reference, in seeing structure, the parent was interpret expressions that represent a quantity in terms of its context. And then we had part A, identify the parts of an expression that models a real world context, terms, factors, and coefficients, and it goes on. And then interpret complicated expressions that model real world context by viewing one or more parts as a single entity as part B. So those 3 kind of go together as an overall standard. And that's why we didn't split that one or dissolve that one. So I think I'm hearing everyone say that we could keep this one as is as a parent and 2 substandards. Is that true?
I agree with that.
I agree as well.
Agreed.
That's
I
fine
agree.
with me.
Okay, I agree too.
So Brianna, do I need to resolve this comment or can it stay?
You're welcome to resolve it or just say like discussed, opted not to, whatever works best for you. But
Just add in. Okay.
and I will say sometimes it takes a hot second for it to show up on SharePoint Excel. So it's
I'm
very
just-
possible.
Okay, I'm just adding discussed and team decided to keep the initial decision, which was moved.
Great.
Okay. And
Okay.
y'all didn't get to experience this, but I got so much better at the spreadsheet.
It looks amazing, Beth.
Mhm.
You did a
Where-
great job.
Oh, thank you. Where to next, Mindy?
I think the next easiest thing would be our repeated standard in line 150 and 151. Beth caught an instance where we left a parent and a substandard that are exactly the same, and Beth and I had a conjecture that we meant maybe to get rid of that parent and recode, or I don't know, I don't if this was just a mistake. So if you all are around line 150 on your own spreadsheet, maybe you can do a little investigating and see what you think is the problem there. I'm happy
would
to hear
assume-
your thoughts. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I would assume that we were trying to get rid of the parent.
I think that's where our heads are at too. Like we were going to get rid of that parent and maybe recode, but our question was, do you think we were going to do a 4, 5, and 6? Or do you think we were going to we probably were not going to make a new parent and then an A and B? I don't know. That would be my biggest question.
In math 3, the
Mhm.
FLE
Mm-hmm.
A1 standard that's there is that one about knowing a quantity increases exponentially, eventually exceeds. And then in math 3, the LEA2 says know the relationship between exponential functions and logarithmic functions. But math 3's part A of 2 is about solving exponential equations.
So they're also kind of a little bit out of order. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, I scrolled down, so maybe compare. What were those row numbers, Mindy, for the Algebra 2 one?
150 and 151.
Compare that, team, to starting about row 325.
So what you're saying, Beth, is that our part A in the integrated sequence doesn't match our part B or our part A in the traditional sequence.
That's my initial take on it.
Mhm.
We definitely, I mean, I remember the conversation around the, oh, that says kept.
Because see, in Algebra 2, where's the solve exponential equations standard?
Right.
So didn't we take out all of the exponential out of algebra 2?
I think that was Algebra 1, Kyla.
Okay.
I think. So we switch that with quadratics.
Because essentially, I think the flow on rows 325 through 329, I think those should be the same in Algebra 2.
So looking on the left side, there may have actually been either there was an error or something happened with the change, because on the left side, which is supposed to be the current standards in column H, those are the exact same standard already. So I don't know.
Can
And the scope and
someone-
clarifications were the
Yes,
same too,
we
right?
should have had FLEA1A should have been solve exponential equations originally.
So somehow that
That
column, the original was not, that's not,
one.
what's in the original space is not actually the original standard.
So Brianna, how do we go about
Okay.
fixing that?
Okay. I was working on the chat, but am I understanding right that we no longer want to keep 325 here? Or tell me what's going on.
We
Yeah.
found a mistake in the original standards that caused a revision error.
Okay. Use the PDF as the Bible source of truth, whatever the standard is, and correct it on the left-hand side. And if that's what y'all like, then it would still be a key. Thank
So
you.
everybody track along with me on row 151.
Mhm.
That's the one I'm changing, correct? I've made it green to stick out.
Yeah, and it would be column H, right? That's the
Yes.
original piece.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm. Somebody recite for me the words that should have been here.
I can try and double screen it if that's helpful.
I have it. I mean, I can read it if you want.
Yes, read it to me there, Ashley.
All right. Solve exponential. Make sure I don't go too fast. So solve exponential equations using a variety of strategies, comma, including logarithms, period. And this one did have a star originally.
What about the scope and clarifications? Because in those match, and I think they also probably didn't.
The scope. Oh, can you still hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The scope and clarifications, that would have gone, it said bases should include all numbers, comma, including the natural base E, and that would have gone for all A, B, and C, like it's all lumped together.
Okay.
That's right. I forgot that they were lumped. I know that they were the same in the boxes there, and I was like, oh, they repeated that, but sorry.
Okay. Excellent. So this one is line 151. The original standard is now correct. So team, what does that mean we need to make the revised standard be?
I'm going to scroll back to 325 to see what we had there while this is here.
A note for you, Beth. You can just put the most recent date, so we just know what's the last time we touched the standard. So in the event that y'all want to do something different in this section, put that date. Y'all are making corrections. Thank you for doing that. Don't worry about a date for that. But in the event you actually want to make a change, just we'll put 8/6.
Okay.
In the integrated pathway, we have it as kept. So I don't believe we changed the language of the standard at all. And the scope and clarification is the same. If this matters, it's in all caps in Algebra 2, and it's a lowercase all in the integrated pathway scope and clarification. So it just FYI.
That's helpful. I would say make it whatever your intent is. Like, if try and be consistent where you can, but if there's a nuance, feel free to differentiate and then explain.
I vote lowercase.
I agree, Beth. I don't
I
think we
agree.
need the all caps.
I'm for lowercase.
I agree.
Me
I
too.
agree.
So is there a code change for this, or this would also just be a keep?
I think it had a code change because it came from 1 and now is a 3.
Yep.
And so, are you all ready for me to then in column R, make it what the math 3 wording is?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. How's that looking now for everyone?
Looks good.
Yep.
Good. Agreed.
Looks good. And that's the same order as Math 3, correct? Know that it increases exponentially, or know that a quantity increasing exponentially is the first one. Hang on, sorry, I'm up one. No exponential functions grow by equal factors is the first one in Math 3.
Yes. No. Hang
Okay.
on.
Or did that might be the first one in Algebra 2 because we moved it from Algebra 1. So that might have to be different.
Wasn't that originally there? The know that a quantity increasing, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
It was in Algebra 2 originally, and it
Oh,
came
so
after.
it was okay, and that's why we were able to get rid of it in Algebra 1, I remember. Thank you, Ashley. Yeah. Okay.
So now does it match good?
It looks like it, yeah.
Wait, I think they are different orders. So standard 1, know that a quantity increasing is in algebra 2, I think. Oh, no. I was on the left side again. It's really hard scrolling back and forth. I'm sorry.
I think you're right. I don't think that lives in math 3, but it might be covered in math 2. And that's why it's not in math 3.
Which one are y'all referring
No,
to?
it's there on 325 is
Oh,
know
it
that a
is?
quantity increases and it's standard number 1, like that,
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
And that's it. So that's math 3, and know that a quantity increases is the second one in algebra 2,
Mhm.
but before it is the no exponential functions grow by equal factors, and that one is
Is that in
not.
math 3?
Yeah, so
But that's the one that we busted up so that part of
Mhm.
it went to algebra 1 and part of it went to algebra 2.
okay.
So the standard, I guess, stayed the same for integrated as it is currently written.
That's right.
Sure.
And then we busted it up.
Mhm. I think that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The only other thing I can see that in math 3 is a little different is the formatting of that equation in what math 3 2b is. Let's see where it is in algebra 2. It's in line 152. It's the A, B, C, T equals D, where A, B, C, and D are numbers. The formatting of that equation is, I want to make sure that in print that the formatting translates, but
Yeah.
that's the only thing.
That's a good flag, Mindy. I wonder if we copy and paste, if I'm understanding all right, that we could pull some of that formatting from, what was it, math 3? If I give you a whiplash a 300th time, if we could pull it up.
Mhm.
Is that the right? It has some of the right.
Yeah, I think the math 3 is the correct equation.
Okay. Oh gosh, everyone close your eyes. And feel free to give me any filters or sorting or anything that would make this less painful.
Gosh, it doesn't copy paste correctly. I
doesn't?
just
Oh,
tried to
shoot.
copy it from math 3 into the algebra 2 standard, and it just simply does not. So like when you double click into math 3 FLEA 2B, you
Mhm.
see the equation written correctly.
Mhm.
Let me try to copy the whole thing because I tried to just copy the equation part itself.
Is it correct? Because it looks like
I
there's a
don't know now that I
subscript.
see it again.
No, I don't think
Is it
that's
supposed to
it.
be an exponent?
When you double click into it, like, oh, maybe y'all can't do that.
Sorry, what were
Brianna, double click into row 329. No, excuse me, 328, column H.
Mhm.
Double click into it like you're about to type something.
Okay, I just copy and pasted it over from 328 to 152 column H. And I see some subscript. But what I'm
Double click into that
okay.
and like expand it basically.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay, it works. It was not copying and pasting for me.
So that's weird though, that when it's not, it looks like a subscript, and when you click into it, it's an exponent. How do we make sure that it gets into our standards document in the correct way? Because the copy and paste often doesn't work. Like I copy from the IFDs into Word documents and the formatting changes. So is there something we need to do around exponents or other things to make sure they show up correctly?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I just want to make sure I'm understanding right. You do want the subscript or you do want the superscript?
Super.
It should be, yeah, it should be an exponent.
Okay, this is correct.
So that is correct.
Well, let me do this. Let's just have ignore. I'm just picking out a random document that we'll use later. So that
Interestingly, I have the real document pulled up at my house, but on my laptop, even when I click in it, it's not showing as subscript or superscript. I wonder if it's a font issue in
yeah.
Excel.
Yeah, I do know we're supposed to use open stands going forward for ADA accessibility stuff. That's what we're in the process at the state of moving all of our stuff between the department and the state board. So the good news is what I'm going to do when I make the standards document is copy and paste. And when I did copy and paste, and I'm going to copy and paste it into a Word document, it does look good. But I'm open to thoughts and feedback there. You're welcome to, if it's helpful, if there's anything y'all are nervous about, or first of all, I'll send it to all of you to like have an opportunity to review and give feedback to make sure that I interpreted your intent correctly. Second of all, if y'all wanted to add like a notes column or anything like that to be like, please make sure like concerned, like you're welcome to flag those and I'll be sure to implement.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
as
on
long-
some of them we used the caret to designate it as an exponent, and in some places, not, especially the ones we were editing.
Right, because that one doesn't look right. Because if I'm understanding all right, you changed some of this language, but you still want a wait, what would we say? Superscript CT, right? Understand about what's
Beth, can you retype it using like a caret symbol and then the quantity CT in parentheses? And that way we just know.
yeah, that's good with me. I
Okay.
feel comfortable with a caret. But am I understanding right that H and R should be the same? Oh, she just did it. Okay, we're good.
Okay. I think I feel good about that set of fleas.
Mhm.
Is everybody else okay? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Are we required to verbally say things, or like, is that easier for you if we verbally say?
It would help me if you
Okay.
verbalize it. Yeah, because I'm kind of like moving between two windows and I can't always see your lovely faces.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
We have to learn new ways to interact in this setting versus being around that table.
Yeah, my laptop's so tiny.
Just one screen? Oh no.
Mm-hmm. So now we can address the BF coding situation, which I forgot which line happens in. Give me 1 second, I'll find it. Is that, Beth, was that in Algebra 2 or Algebra 1? Where we had a missing 1, 2, and 3?
I think it was in integrated.
Integrated? Okay. Um,
Maybe math 2.
Math 2.
I'm in Math 3 BF, and we have 1, 2, and 3 there, so
Okay.
it's not there.
You're looking for basically an inconsistency in G. Is that right?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yep,
it's not math 2.
Is it Math 1?
Let me go back to our email, Mindy.
Okay.
Got that.
It's not Math 1 either.
M2, yeah, it was M2
M2.
BF standards. See if they
Mhm.
start with an A4.
Okay.
And I think
Okay.
FBF. In the revised.
yes. And so I went in and fixed them But I think here, Mindy, what we were going to do is just ask the
Make
team if there
sure.
was for some reason. Yeah.
Oh, yes, we were going to make sure that there wasn't anything that was supposed to come before what is now A1. Right.
So the story behind this is, as I was like double checking everything and
Mhm.
cleaning things up over the past week, when I get to the BF parts for Math 2, the coding started with A4 and went down. And the coding was fine after that, but I was like, oh no, where's 1, 2, and 3?
And then when I checked over it, all the other courses when we were in BF started, it's in 268, the line number. All the other courses started with this BF standard, build a function that models a real world context. And it goes on. So we were just concerned that somehow we had left or deleted something in Math 2 that should be before that, but we weren't sure if there was something that should precede this skill in Math 2 in particular. We wanted to get your eyes on it.
So you're saying that 268
Yes,
was
this
there
is
and fine, but 269, the number didn't follow.
268 was coded as a 4, and
Was
they
coded as a
followed
4,
mhm,
and they
5,
went
6.
from there.
Mm-hmm. And there was no numbers 1, 2, or
1, 2, and
3.
3.
Wait,
And in every other course, that the current A1 is that same standard. So just for context.
And if somebody will also pull up like the current PDF version of today's standards, and let's make sure that the BF started with this A1.
Is that what you're thinking, Beth?
So the A1 for Math 2,
Mm-hmm.
the BF A1 was build a function that describes a relationship between two quantities, and then part A, or like A1A, would be combined standard function types using arithmetic operations, or yeah.
In Math 1, it is also build a function that describes, and then part A is determine steps for calculation, a recursive process, or explicit expression.
Now, the other hunch that I have is that in terms of like moving things around, like having to pick things up so that the sections on the right were in the right course sequence. I don't know if when perhaps something lived there above the BF, and what, you know, at one point we called it a 4. And so I don't know if like Crazy Eyes thought that that was 1, 2, and 3, and those went there, and maybe they needed to be picked up and moved somewhere else, and that's how it got called a 4. I just wanted to make sure that
the issue wasn't integrated 2. Is that what you're saying?
yes,
Okay,
it
so
was.
I currently have it sorted so that we can only see BFs.
Okay.
And there are 3 BFs in integrated 1.
Okay.
So when it's sorted that way, the next line is that first one in integrated 2. So we might have numbered it 4 because
Okay.
the 3 from integrated 1 was right above it. And so we're like, oh, that one's a 4.
Okay. Okay.
Does that make
Good
sense
catch.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yep. That's
I've-
what I hoped had happened.
Because we were sorting so much by the
Mhm.
cluster, right?
Yes.
And thinking about it that way, or the
Yeah,
whatever that's called, not cluster, but
yeah. I
Okay.
think that's very plausible.
So then team, I updated that coding.
Mhm.
Which now so did line 268, did it really actually receive a revision? Or was it actually kept?
it did.
Okay.
Because what it used to be was just build a function that describes a relationship between two quantities.
Mhm.
So we added the real world.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it was a parent function before, and we made it a new piece
Okay.
to add the graph table, like all of that stuff.
Yeah. I also see input, output pair, something, something.
Okay.
I think we'll just need to change K to 68. Unless the
Change
rest.
K, you're saying?
Yeah, K 268, because this is updated code, so I think we'll just want to put what Jessica just said. And then in case, oh, it looks like you updated scope and clarifications maybe also, according to T 268. So yeah, maybe just take another look at T 268 and K 268.
Yeah, we definitely edited the text of the standard
Mhm.
for different ways that they should be able to build a function. So it's beyond code changing.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed when I was scrolling is I think we had a number gap, but I could be wrong. It was at the top of where I thought you were talking about because I'm trying to keep up with how smart all of you are. Oh, this 3. 1 to 3. Do we like 1 to 3? Do we need 1 to 3? I'm on rows 242 and 244. Let me get rid of this to go bigger. I guess question, should that be 2?
In 260, I don't know if this matters. In 268, column T, the last sentence says updated scope and clarifications, but I just looked at the scope and clarification versus the original. I am looking at the IFD, but it looks like the same. I can't tell that it's changed.
Brianna, I think that does need to be a 2.
Hang on. Brianna,
You're missing a row.
she's missing row
You're missing.
242.
Okay, never mind.
243
Never
is
mind.
not showing,
Thank
so
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Beautiful. And I can go back to 268, I think.
Okay, yes.
Thank you, whoever caught that. Okay. Okay, so the question is if this is and I can pull up the standard stock. I don't have the
We did change the scope and clarifications because we took out the word linear on row 268.
Oh, got it. Good.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Great.
Good grief. That was literally the third word. How did I not catch the third word changed?
Your brain didn't need it to read it. It already knew what was there.
Okay, the next thing on my list. Is everyone feeling good to move on?
Mhm.
Okay, the next thing on my list is the order of the matrix operation standards in Algebra 1 versus the order we have them in Math 1. Algebra 1 has adding and subtracting first and then multiply. This is in line 16 and 17.
Thank you.
But Math 1 has the opposite. It has multiply first and then add and subtract, if I haven't gone crazy. And those lines are 176 and 177.
You said start at 15, Mindy?
16 and 17 are Algebra 1.
Oh, I'm on. Oh, you moved it to Algebra 1. I see.
Mhm.
You're correct. That is what that's the same. I think it's because and it's scalar. I'm looking at this. Sorry, I'll look at this screen and then that one.
Oh, wait.
Oh, no, that's different.
I, so one's
16.
about multiply matrix by a scalar, then add and subtract, then multiply matrices. I think they're in the same order.
Wait, what? In integrated, I see multiplied by a scalar. Is that what's in line 15 that I can't see on? Yes, okay.
Yes.
Multiply by a scalar, then add abstract, and then multiply matrices.
So I'm just
I
crazy.
don't, wait, I'm missing a 178.
There's something weird going on in Math 1, I think, then.
I can go to 176.
Is the
So
rest of it
here's-
in Math 2? That's what I was scrolling to see. Like, is just maybe part of it in Math 1?
The
Maybe.
math 1, the matrices technically start on 175 and it's a kept standard.
Oh, I didn't see that on the left. Okay.
Then we multiply by a matrix, which is a revised standard. Then in math 1, add or subtract. But then it goes back to a kept standard of multiply matrices and then describe the roles of zero matrices and stuff. So it's a kept followed by 2 revisions followed by 2 kepts. So let's make sure that's the correct order that y'all want them in.
Right. I think y'all stop me, but in the last section, it was add, subtract, then multiply. So is the question, do y'all want to switch the order of 176 and 177 here?
Well, there are 2 multiplies, I think, is the challenge, right?
Yes.
I don't.
It looks like our Math 1 is just like it's been in the past, like our current Algebra 2.
Scalar.
So everything's fine, and I'm just crazy. Okay.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, I think it's the same.
Okay. Okay.
It's just
I
part
think
of
so
it is
too.
on the left because it was kept.
Okay.
Yep.
And so
Yeah,
it
that was a good
looks-
catch because I wasn't looking at the left either.
Okay. I see it. I'm with y'all. Okay. Thank you. We're good. All right. What's going to be easy to tackle? All right, this might be easy, it might not. Let's switch gears just a little bit and go to math reasoning.
The standards or the course overviews?
The standards.
Okay.
Because when we did the counts team added us a row to add a standard about converting between units of measurement or between systems of measurement. So do we still want to do that? And if we do, I think it's in 35. Is that where?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
sorry, this is Holly.
Yes,
So
go for it.
just as a reminder to everybody, no one anywhere in the K-12 math standards do that convert between systems, only within. So if we ever want any students to have a chance of seeing this, this is a place to put that. And that won't reach all students, but it'll reach the students who might need that most, because class. So I think we need it, but I wanted to remind everybody that it exists nowhere else.
I think it's fine to keep it here, and it could just be an easy add it if we can figure out how we want to write it. So we already have the line put in there, and the coding we could figure out real quick.
And I'm not supposed to touch the document in our absence, but my original intent was on standard in K-8 where they're doing within system, and to use that exact same language except change it to between system.
Okay.
I think it's in 5th. Let me look. I can try to find it pretty easily.
Yeah, I'm happy to pull their spreadsheet. 1 second.
I'm ready to start typing when you have your
I have the current 5th grade standards up, and I can read what the current ones, not revised ones, say if you all are interested in that. Yeah.
Sure, because we're going to have to reword it anyway.
Okay. It says convert customary and metric measurement units within a single system by expressing measurements of larger unit in terms of smaller unit. Use these conversions to solve multi-step real-world problems involving distances, intervals of time, liquid volumes, masses of objects, and money. And that's it. There's some examples, but.
So I think we can use the first part of that, except change the word within to between, and then put, or I don't have to have that. Or we could have a comma and then say, and solve real world problems, and use those conversions to solve real world problems, and then put the period and not even name the examples. And I think that that's sufficient for math reasoning.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it could read, oh, go for it, Jessica.
I was just going to say the reason that they specify larger to smaller is because in 6th grade, then they do it where it doesn't have to be larger. Like the narrowing there is for that grade level. It expands later.
Agreed. And we don't have to have that for high school.
It could read convert customary and metric measurements or measurement between systems. Period.
Or comma, and use those conversions to solve real world problems.
I like it.
Yeah, I think solving the real world problems makes sense so that there's a purpose for doing that.
And then I don't feel compelled to give the examples because it's a non-tested high school area, and the teacher could tailor it to the CTE students in that particular class at that particular time. And so it gives them the flexibility to meet their own students' needs.
I agree with you.
I agree.
So I've updated the
agree.
language in column J, row 35.
Yeah, it looks good to me. And we will just update the coding in the next standard to finish out that spreadsheet, I guess. Since it wouldn't be a kept anymore.
I had put that sort of placeholder line in that spot. That's where I thought it fit in the math reasoning sequence of standards. Maybe other
Okay.
eyes should look at that and make sure we have it on the right line where everybody else thinks it belongs. That's where I thought it might make sense.
The standard before it makes sense.
Yeah, that was my thinking. But I had just made that decision on my own, so I wanted everybody else to kind of concur.
I agree with you, Holly. How does everybody else feel?
I think
I
that
agree.
makes sense.
Okay,
I agree.
good. Awesome. Okay,
So I
that
think,
was easy.
Beth, I think we can put J35 in, yep, you're in my mind.
Anything else?
Not in math reasoning as far as I can tell. Is there anything with that standard that anybody's unhappy with? Are we good with it? Yeah?
Yep, I'm good.
Okay. Okay, so I think before we look at stars, I think that's going to be a big one. There's one thing on the parking garage that they did in 6-8 that we might need to consider for high school math. They said that they removed simple interest and percent error. And we had a question on there. How does this impact high school? And then we put notes that said Algebra 2/integrated. Where do we clarify that interest should be taught in exponential functions? What kind of interest? Are we doing compounding? Are we just doing simple? You know, what level of detail do we give and where? So just to mark that item off of our parking garage, how do we address it?
One quick question on my end. When did they talk to you about the simple interest thing? Because I know they heavily debated whether to just get rid of percent error or to get rid of both.
They mentioned it in a morning check-in.
Okay, I'll go check the 6-8 and see if where they landed.
Okay. So for us, I think that we have all of our exponential stuff in Algebra 2. So my question for the group is where and how are we clarifying that impact in Algebra 2? And do we need to?
Okay.
Could it be in the IFD?
I was just looking at the IFD because I think I teach it and I'm pretty sure that I've seen sample problems of both simple and compound interest as well as solving for how long it takes to, if something's at such and such, how long does it take to reach this amount, things like that. But I don't see it in the current IFD. What am I missing? Why
It's
would
in there. I actually was looking at this earlier
Let
this
me look for the
morning.
word. Let
Yeah,
me look
let
for the
me look
word
again.
compound. Found it.
Okay.
Found it. I was looking for the wrong word.
So what standard does that live in, Debbie?
I found IF.B.5.
What?
Analyze functions using different representations. And in the IFD, it says teachers should provide a variety of contexts in which the type of variables differ so that students can develop a deep understanding of how each component relates to real world context, such as using the formula for compound interest. That's one of them.
Okay.
Sorry, what standard code did you say it was?
I'm looking for it again. It was a BF.
Oh, I thought you said IF.
Building.
Yeah.
Building. Oh, maybe I
was an-
did. Now I'm looking for it.
Sorry,
Where'd
I
it
was just
go?
trying to find it.
Sorry, it was IF.B.5.
In Algebra 1 or Algebra 2?
Algebra 2.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, surely it's somewhere else.
And I don't know that we have to clarify. I feel like when you're teaching exponential functions and we have the standards about real world applications, that interest problems are kind of a natural decision. So I'm not sure we have to do anything explicit to ensure that that happens unless it's a note for the IFD to call it out specifically.
I think it's an important thing for the IFD to state this is the student's first time learning this, because that's a significant change from the current. Teachers are going to expect them to come with some prior knowledge, and now that won't be true. And so I think that that direction could live within the focus statements and not affect the standards itself for high school. Because I agree with Holly. I think it's going to naturally come up, but the issue here is that kids won't have the prior experience.
And I agree with Beth. I think flagging that this is their first time seeing it in the IFD is a reasonable way to handle this and leave the standards as are.
Okay,
I love that.
I will add that to the wish list for an IFD call out that students haven't experienced any work with interest. So that will take care of that one.
We're checking them off, Mindy.
I know, this is great. I'm just gonna briefly type that in the wish list and then I'll make it better.
Totally fine.
Okay.
Just for context, we're about to hit 4, so we've got an hour and some change.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I think this is going to be our big one, the modeling stars. Beth did a lot of work to try to get the stars put in where they need to go. So I think one of our big questions will be the consistency of the way they look and then where they show up in the conceptual categories. We agreed that if it's a modeling standard, if it mentions modeling, we are going to put a star there. So we're going to have that like useful redundancy is what I think we agreed to. So Beth went through and put stars where it mentions modeling and where they had stars before.
Hypothetically.
Okay, and then we wanted to make sure that it matched with the conceptual category too. So there were some inconsistencies in that. For example, the SSE category is starred for Math 2, but not for any other course. Although some of the courses don't have all the standards in that category starred. So that's kind of the issue. If we are starring the category, should all the standards be starred? And if all the standards are starred, should the category be starred?
And in that same vein, I'm wondering or would like to potentially pitch as a possible solution that the categories don't receive a star, since they might have standards with or without. And even Mindy's going to bring up here in a minute, there's some that say tasks may or may not include. So would the team consider us eliminating stars from the category, but leaving the stars with each individual standard as is applicable?
I think that fits with my suggestion, which is a little bit different. So I'll put it on the table too, but I am comfortable with that because the stars are indicators to the assessment team on which standards need to be assessed as modeling, and they don't see those on the category labels anyway. So I think your suggestion of leaving it off of the categories still works for all practical purposes. Teachers would still know that standard is designated for modeling. Assessment team would still know that standard is designated for modeling. And so we wouldn't necessarily have to put a star on a category. The alternative that I had thought about, rather than an all or none, was that if there was any standard in a category starred, then you would just star the category to indicate, hey, there's something here about modeling, but not that every standard in that category was about modeling. So I was not thinking either of the first two options, where if a category is starred, all the standards are, or if all the standards are, the category would be. I was thinking more along the lines, if there's any
If a
single
star
standard
is-
starred, you'd put a star on the category just to say, hey, there's one here, but it
Yeah.
wouldn't mean everything there was modeling. But I think
Mhm.
Beth's alternative also really works in the same way. The star
Yeah.
on the category, it's just, do you want it there to flag for somebody like, hey, there's something in this category that's modeling?
Mhm.
Or do you want to just leave all of the categories blank and look for just the standards? And I'm good with either decision, I think.
I think it makes sense to not put it on the category and put it on the standard so teachers know to look to the standard. I think it might be misleading because I think in the past they tried to star the cluster, or if they starred like the cluster heading, then that meant all the ones in it were starred. And if we changed, if we were to like start to say one of these is, then I think people might misunderstand that. And I think there were some inconsistencies also, like maybe some were forgotten, but I think it might be better if we just put it on the standards that it's supposed to be there and say, these are the ones. You don't have to interpret anything else from another place.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I'm definitely in favor of just starring the standards and not clusters or categories.
I think that's where I'm landing to, just standard starred.
I agree with the just standards, and somehow I feel like this is a deep philosophical question for life too.
Anybody think different than that? Okay, so we will only star standards. We will remove stars from conceptual categories.
So, Brianna, do they need to watch these stars disappear currently from column O? Or is that something I can work on at the close of our 2 weeks in the spreadsheet?
Definitely the latter, and let's make you feel more comfortable to do the former. What I'm thinking is y'all can just put like the decision that you made so that Beth has clear guidance on like the team decided blank.
And you want that guidance listed where exactly?
I'm open to thoughts. I was thinking just put it with the parking garage because you already have it, and
Okay.
then you can just mark it off in the parking garage once you've had a chance to do it.
Yes, I'm comfortable with trusting Beth to that and not
It's 370 rows. It's crazy. What I would like for the team to really do spend perhaps a few moments, or if you want to bust it up and say, I'll check this set of rows and this set of rows, and just convince me that each standard that has the phrase real world or context does in fact have a star with it. I fear I somehow overlooked some.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea. And then while you're doing that, can you look at the ones that say may or may not have context and consider whether those should get stars or not? It might help you if you read them again. So let's see.
Without
Are we
looking,
also looking at if they had a star before?
that's a great way to consider that decision-making process.
Okay, like from our like PDF version, since they didn't all copy over here.
And so actually that was not something I tracked in my trying to update. So that's a place where one could have been overlooked because I did not,
Okay.
that was not my train of thought in doing it. So that would be a great lens.
Okay.
Did someone else have a question?
I was just going to comment that without having looked at them, I would think it only gets a star if the standard itself says real world or model, or it previously had a star. If the only place it alludes to a real world task is in a statement that tasks may or may not, then I would think it doesn't get a star. But that's just an initial thought without reviewing them explicitly. I also am sorry that I won't be able to help share the load on this. I am on a phone and it's very tiny text, so I don't think I can take any rows here.
Okay. Can we do Kyla and Debbie on Algebra 1, Algebra 2, and Geometry? And then Jessica and Ashley on Integrated? And then Beth and I can just give another holistic look.
Okay.
Okay, tell me if anything on the big screen would be helpful or if y'all are doing your own thing. That's fine too.
Brianna, do I need to, on each conceptual category that I delete the star, does that need to be in the rationale? Or is Mindy well enough prepared at this point if she's asked about the stars? Do we have a general consensus on how that would change throughout the course of the 9/11 standards?
It's a good question. I think the other thing I use it for sometimes is to make sure I'm interpreting your rationale correctly. Meaning, like, if, let's say 9 of the standards look one way, and then I'm like, oh, that 10th standard looks a little different. I think I'm open to your thoughts, Mindy. Would it be most feasible if we just put like our full logic on what the stars are so that we have that talking point? But that's something, like, as I'm working on creating the standards document, that would be super helpful to have eyes on to make sure that I interpreted it correctly. Does that feel like an okay compromise?
Just having it in one place. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, put the rationale here of like we did this because this, just in the garage, and then I would just be as careful as you can on the spreadsheet to make sure it's accurate. And if I have any questions, I'll.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I have always left this sorted in a default order, so that I didn't screw something up. So I'm not sure what order I'm looking at it, and I just want to ensure that I'm doing the right thing. On line 20 in column R. So R20. That's SSC.A.1. There is a star. Right below that is SSC.A.1.A. So there should be a star on A in line 21, but not a star in line 20. Is that what you're saying?
Well, because it said context, I think is why I put the star there. And its original standard on the left had a star.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not understanding exactly what I'm supposed to do right now then. Can you repeat that? Sorry, Mindy.
You are just looking at the traditional pathway and seeing wherever it's calling out a context or modeling the real world, if there is a star on that standard.
And then doing what?
and making sure the star is there. And then if the on the original standards, if there was a star, that star is still there. Like if
Okay,
we kept
thank
a
you.
standard, if we kept a standard that had a star, the star is still there.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Team, I am receiving a call from a doctor that I have called for since June 30th. I'm going to press mute for just a minute.
Well, so Debbie, what are you gonna do? You're gonna do algebra 1 and algebra 2 or algebra 1 and geometry, and I can go down to geometry, the rest of them?
If let me start with algebra 1 and you start with
Okay.
geometry, and let's see who gets done first.
It works. Okay. Just wanted to, I didn't want to double work.
Yeah.
Okay, Brianna, question.
Yep.
Line 231 is a kept standard. Its conceptual category has a star. And I'd like to delete the star on the conceptual category. Does that make that standard no longer kept?
Yes.
So, okay.
I appreciate you, Beth. I'm happy to help. Let me work.
It's not that often. Okay.
Would 5 minutes be enough time for everybody to finish up their scan? Or is that too much time?
I'm almost through Algebra 1. There's a bunch, I think.
Most of the ones in geometry were done. I'm looking at Algebra 2 now, and it looks like a lot of those are already done as well. But I'm going through each line now.
If it does not say context, like I have found a few that don't say context that have the star.
They may have
Um,
originally had a star and we
Right.
kept it like that. Okay.
So I
But
can
I'm
Go
just
ahead.
looking at the
wondering, like, for instance, like the f of x, the, you know, that standard around like explain why f of x equals g of x, like blah, 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 blah. That is starred.
Mm.
And the one about geometric formulas,
Mhm.
understanding geometric formulas as functions. And there's one on average rate of change,
Mhm.
like interpreting, but none of those have talk about
They don't
context.
mention context
And
explicitly.
the relationship between exponential and log was starred also. Is that modeling to understand the relationship between exponential and log functions?
I think it depends on what you think of as a model. So, if, you know, equations themselves are modeled in equation form. And so I think sometimes that's how those particular kinds of standards end up with the designation because it's focused on the notation and the symbolic model for that equation rather than the real world or application model. So
Sure.
I understand why those are there. If we think that's a nuance, we can talk about it.
I wanted to draw attention. I'm not concerned with keeping it. I agree with what you said, Holly. I just wanted to, because the directions that we were given was checking about the context. And so I just wanted to make sure that that wasn't mislabeled or we didn't want to remove those.
Right. I hear you.
Yeah, I think it's a good comment to think about because in the front end matter, which we haven't talked about yet, when we talk about modeling, if we are including symbolic representations as a model, we might want to specify that there. If we're only meaning the real, want to specify that there and then take those stars off potentially. So I think you're raising a really good impact that front end matter conversation.
I agree that it's perhaps worth talking about and at least norming what this team's practices are going to be around that. Because I feel like that's what some of the frustration from a teacher's perspective is, like, when we've already hashed this out, but what do the stars do and what do they mean? And so if we can very meaningfully place or not place them, I think that would be beneficial to the revision.
I agree with you.
So I suppose the question on the table then is about the symbolic representations. Are we considering that among model, or are we only considering real world application based settings as modeling tasks?
I guess what I like to think of what the star does is ensures contextual based problems and not just pure math type problems. And so I don't know. I don't know if that's right or wrong interpretation, but I appreciate the star compelling a teacher to make sure these are done in contextual task, real world problems, but then save some for just some algebraic style problems, which I agree with Holly. An algebraic equation is a model of that data that's behind the scenes kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the average rate of change standard. And I agree with Beth. I don't want that standard not done in context because I think context helps the understanding of that. But saying, like, explicitly calling that out in the standard, like writing the words real world context, I think pigeonholes it to real world context when there may be a time when you want to show it without context. So I don't want a teacher to feel like it always has to be in context. So I think the star is purposeful on that standard because there is no reference to a context, but we want to ensure that context is used.
In addition to the symbolic equation model.
Correct.
And as we progress across the courses, we see more and more of like model this real world situation with an equation. So we don't want to neglect that idea of symbolic models or equations. And so I personally am in favor of leaving it on the kinds of standards like Jessica was flagging, but I will go with the will of the group.
I'm in favor of leaving it. And I think I'm in favor of leaving it with some kind of nod to it in the opening matter. I think we might have that in there already. I'm not sure though. Any other opinions?
I can't somehow still figure out how to do the chat, but I feel like I found several places that if we're in consistency trying to keep stars, that we would need stars in the M1 through M3.
Okay.
But I don't know the best way to tell you all these numbers.
Ashley, do you have the chat box open?
I do, and whether I clicked everyone or I clicked direct, down at the bottom, like I don't have a place to type.
Oh, weird. Okay, mine says write a message to all. You don't have like an orange something when you click direct.
Click direct. All panelists.
Yes.
So if I click direct, and then I can either search participants or I can click all panelists.
Yep. Click on that to Holly's point.
Okay, when I click on that, all panelists, I see where people have entered things, but down at the bottom of mine it says direct chat with individual attendees is now off.
Oh Lord. Okay, I can try and work on the back end, but I wonder. I'm open to y'all's thoughts, but we can also figure out a workaround on the spreadsheet. Let me see. May. What if I just say in co-host? Actually, maybe I can list.
I would like somebody to check one or two of mine. I
Hey,
have
I think I
eight or
can type now.
just to see if I'm looking at this right before I type them in a chat.
Okay.
Like, I think row 21 might be one. I'm looking at row 21, box H. I believe in the original standard it has a star. It doesn't there in row 21, box H.
Our revised one does, and that's, I think, the
What
one
we
that
need to go with?
Yeah.
Okay. So what column T?
R.
No. What column should I check then? I'll go back and check them from that one.
R.
R. Thank you.
Mhm. On this line of reasoning that Jessica flagged for us, are there any opinions about the standards where we have in the scope that say may or may not have context? Should we star those or should we leave them be?
I vote that they do not have a star.
Can you say that again? You kind of broke up.
Sorry, I vote that they do not have a star.
Okay.
I agree with that.
I think I'm confused. So we're going to take the stars off of the ones that are just symbolic models. Is that
No.
what the votes are?
No, we're gonna leave those stars, but Holly, there are some standards where in the scope and clarification, we have the words may or may not have context. And I don't think that those are currently starred. So I want your opinion on whether those should be starred.
Gotcha. I agree. Those should not be starred.
Okay. Can you all give me your reasoning for that opinion?
My reasoning is if we put the star, then it is compelling the assessment team
To model it.
to do it as a model. And
Okay.
so the teachers will wholly focus on that, and it negates the tasks may or may not part because everything will.
Perfect. I get you. I'm on
Okay,
board.
so the star indicates to the assessment team that they're going to do it as a modeling type question for sure.
That it's more likely.
Okay.
I don't think we can say anything with certainty.
Yeah. Well, all of those that I put in the chat, I believe they either had it before. Yeah, like especially the first line that I typed in, I think they maybe had it before.
I still can't chat, but I only have 3 now I think we need to look at for Algebra 1.
Okay, I'll add you as a co-host, Debbie, and see if that kicks off. Actually, tell me.
And Mindy, will you write those down for me?
Yeah.
Go back and look at. I got started in on changing the categories, and which is now making several of the KEPs that we had revised.
Okay. I got you.
You'll just write those down. I'll go back and fix those. Unless they need a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was just gonna say I may not be right.
Well, like 198.
198 is the one I have flagged as a may or may not.
May or may not. Yeah, I didn't. I went through and I just looked at the text of the standard to look for context and what, like, sorry if I misunderstood what we were tasked with. I was looking at that. Since it said may or
Maybe I could go and check algebra 2 and geometry to make sure I did what the ask was.
198 used to have or it has a star currently in our current standards.
Ashley, in the revise, that was one of the ones that we say may or may not have context now.
Gotcha. So all I checked, well, mostly was just what did it currently have in our standards.
Yes, I got you. Thank you. I think that's a good cross-reference to what we need to be looking at too, to make sure we're consistent.
I want to flag we have about 30 minutes, which it seems like we're open to thoughts. It seems like we've made pretty good progress on the grade level introductions. We just sort of need to maybe put eyes on them one last time. And then I'll direct your attention to, it looks like the parking garage is going pretty well. I mean, I think I see this one at a 1.
And that's only about the overviews.
Only about the reviews, what do you mean?
The overviews.
Oh, the overviews. Okay, great. So then we can handle that then. And then we just need to finish fill out this table.
Okay.
I'm hopeful we can finish by 5, but
I think we can.
cool.
I have all these numbers written down, and I think if it's okay, I think this is something that Beth and I can put eyes on after so that we don't have to sit here as a group and look at it. If that's
I
okay.
think you two could do amazing with it.
One last question for the team, if you're going to vote to do that, is by looking down at the conceptual categories, every now and then I ran across a cluster that also had a star. And so are we saying also remove the stars from the cluster?
I would think so, just to keep the stars at a standard level. That way there's no confusion. Should the cluster be all starred? Should
So for instance, line 226, the cluster had a star as well. Okay.
Yeah, I think we keep it at a standard level.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay. I am okay with the leadership team tackling this question for the group. Do we feel like D15, I can zoom in, captures everything they would need to know to implement the group's will? What should we add?
I think it's conceptual category and cluster heading.
Clusters now,
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any follow-up questions on like the decontextualized nature or anything else related to the equations that y'all were discussing?
Now jump in and ask about some cluster strangeness. Out row 187 and 188.
On the revised?
Yes. We call row 187 REI A1, but we have the cluster as a C. we call row 188 REI A2, but don't have a cluster in there yet. So do we want revised A1 and A2 to be cluster A or cluster C?
I think they're cluster A because we moved the one that is currently in 188 came from CED and we changed it to an REI. So, but it should be labeled A because it's the first one, but I don't know what it should.
So
I
it's
think
Mhm.
I think it's understand solving equations as a process of reasoning and explain the reasoning is the cluster.
I agree with Mindy.
And
And
that
I
would be
can-
for both 87 and 88, but labeled as an A.
I believe so, yeah. And I can read it again too if you need me.
Well, cluster C reads solve equations and inequalities in two variables. My goodness.
Is it because of the understand word that we go with the different cluster heading, and then once I'm not sure
Is
about
the-
the rearranged one.
Is the first one cluster A and the second one cluster C, but really B? Or is it, there, we do have a B, don't we?
Yeah, we have a B.
Where where would this correlation be in algebra in the AGA? Because I think that will
Algebra
tell
1
us
would
the
have
cluster
this.
potentially.
They are both cluster A in algebra 1.
And the cluster A is the understand
Understand
that we have
solving
there.
equations. Yeah, they're in line 28 and 29.
Okay.
Okay. Are you ready to look at overviews?
Sure.
I'm-
Where do we
I'm-
find this in the folder? Just because I'm feeling like the text will be small if I don't open it on my own screen.
I reorganized things a little bit. So follow me. EAT workdays documents. I'm happy to put the link in the chat. And you can see the file path up here if that's helpful. Supporting language feedback. And then all of y'all stuff has been moved to 912. So you have your own folder.
Got it.
And-
Perfect. Thank you.
Just for context, and I defer to your leadership team, when I reviewed all of those course specific ones, the only remaining question I had was that citation for, what is it, the mathematic or the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics, I believe. I'll just need an APA citation for those.
Okay.
But y'all are welcome to continue discussing the grade level introductions.
Beth, were you okay about the spreadsheet?
Yes. Yep. I'm good.
Perfect. We didn't have a chance to all review all the overviews, correct? Or did we look at AGA and integrated together?
Didn't like half of us do that? And just
Some of us did. So did the team that was counting, did you all look at them with us or? Am I
We did not
misremembering?
when we were there, no.
Okay. Have you had a chance to read them?
I read through some of them, but I
Okay.
have not read through all of them. Can I have a few moments?
Yes, I think it might be easiest to do those first because they're so similar.
Okay.
So if you want to take a second and just glance over them.
Yep.
Take like 2 minutes. 'Cause we have 15 left. Okay, I think the highest priority thing to review would be on the second page, the mathematical modeling part of any of the subject specific, like Algebra 1, Algebra 2, Geometry, and the integrated. Just to make sure we have what we want to say about the stars. And it's fully fleshed out to communicate with teachers what we need to communicate. Probably that last sentence needs to go now.
I thought we talked about potentially adding more information about what modeling actually means.
Mm-hmm.
And my other piece was, is it a conceptual category? In that first
Not
sentence?
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And for you, since you'll use documents for a different purpose, which was very resourceful, don't feel like you need to update all of these. I'm good if we just have the Algebra 1, unless there's a distinction or any ones that y'all want to make. I'm good. I can go ahead and delete all the other ones while y'all are chatting right now.
Yeah, I think that's a good catch, Jessica. I don't. Well, is it in geometry? In geometry, we have modeling with geometry. And then geometric measurement and dimension. So I'm fine if we just want that first sentence to say mathematical modeling is a standard for mathematical practice, period.
Okay.
That's the easiest way for us to simplify that.
I just put a statement in the chat. Truth be told, this is from curricular materials, so I don't think we can use it as is. But it does explain a little bit more about what modeling is,
Yeah.
if
I
that
think-
is
I think that's great.
helpful.
Yeah, and y'all correct me, but I thought I remembered at one point y'all had put in your IFD request for a whole thing on modeling.
Mhm.
So, you have that tool in your toolbox if you want to give directions versus and or add detail.
Mhm. I like the idea of starting out with like mathematical modeling is the process of, and then we can like use this as inspiration for a sentence. And maybe then direct them to a hopeful IFD or some kind of extra resource.
I don't have the chat pulled up, so I am editing on the Algebra 1 document. So I have started and is the process of.
Choosing and using appropriate mathematics is so good, but I don't know if we can use it verbatim from
representing?
that.
What about representing?
Yeah. Representing.
Adding it below Beth just so you can see it.
Representing real world context through appropriate mathematics and statistics. Is that too similar to what these people are saying?
We could say through appropriate.
So interesting. I got that, as I mentioned, from a curriculum resource. And as you see, it says like NGA, right? I think that is directly taken from the front matter of the Common Core State Standards, which, because I'm looking at that right now, because a lot of our front matter actually, like I think the standards for mathematical practice, that front matter is 100% from Common Core, because it wasn't revised. Like we use that, obviously our
Yeah.
math practice standards have not been revised.
Okay, what if we say representing real world context through appropriate, and we just list out things like graphs, equations, tables, data sets.
I think that would be great. It's very explicit. And data sets.
And okay.
I'm pro explicit.
Now, this is not a standard, but are these examples? Like, are there other things that you think teachers might think of that would be appropriate for this, for modeling?
I mean, the one we're leaving out is verbally.
Okay, you could say such as through appropriate, just so you can guide them in the direction of like, this is the sandbox, or no, this is just stuff in your toolkit.
So in through. Instead of through, do such as.
Hold on. I'm not gonna do slots.
I don't like the word appropriate there.
Yeah. Yeah, appropriate to whom would be my first question.
I mean, I think the intent was that it's representative of
Of
the
the
data set.
content. Context. It kind of reads to me like the contexts are the graphs, equations, tables, and data sets,
I agree.
and those are the models.
What if you said representing real world contexts in a variety of formats, such as, or yeah, something like that.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I put students translate real world situations into mathematical representations such as graphs, equations, inequalities, tables, diagrams, functions, and data sets to identify relationships, make predictions, and develop solutions. I don't know.
I like caught on to inequalities there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want to
Tyler, read that one more time if you don't mind.
I said students translate real world situations into mathematical representations such as graphs, equations, inequalities, tables, diagrams, functions, and data sets to identify relationships, make predictions, and develop solutions.
I like that a lot.
I also definitely like the end.
I do too.
To identify relationships,
Make
Make
predictions,
predictions.
and develop solutions.
I love that.
What's not on here was the set that she said about functions. And one more thing is, y'all want that in there? Is equations cover that?
Yeah, I think since we have the such as, we can
Okay.
leave it off the list. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna read the whole paragraph and see.
Okay.
Mathematical modeling is a standard for mathematical practice and is the process of representing real-world contexts in a variety of formats, such as graphs, equations, inequalities, tables, and data sets, to identify relationships, make predictions, and develop solutions. Specific modeling standards appear throughout the high school standards, indicated with an asterisk, and oftentimes specifically indicate to model with a real-world context. I think that sounds like a great paragraph. Is there anything in addition to that that we need to like wrap up the paragraph?
Sorry, I was muted. I think because you define it as a process of representing real world context, it seems a little bit redundant to say oftentimes specifically indicate to model a real world context. Like before we said that that's what it is.
Yeah.
So I think you could just say with an asterisk to end that piece and potentially split the first, because that is a really long sentence. Mathematical modeling is a standard for mathematical practice and is also embedded within the standards, period. It is the process of representing the real world or something like that to show that it's a like standard for math practice, but it's also incorporated or something.
I like that, Jessica. Yeah.
Or maybe modeling is the process. Maybe we don't want it. But
I think we could get rid of the also and is also, just put and is embedded within the standards.
I like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
The only thing, I think it's beautiful. The only thing that caught me is close to the end, specific modeling standards appear throughout the high school. Standards. I was trying to think of another word for specific modeling something, just to not have the word standards twice in 5 or 6 words.
Can we say appear throughout the high school pathways or appear throughout high school coursework?
Oh, yeah, it's something like that to me.
What about the practice of modeling mathematics
Oh yeah, I like that.
appear throughout the high school standards?
Mhm.
And are indicated with an asterisk?
Is the practice is indicated?
Yeah.
So and
Say
is or just is?
And is, yeah.
Is, okay.
And is.
We've got 2 periods. Hold on. Another thing y'all can do, you probably know this, markup view. This is your final copy so you can see what you've done. So like, I'll take care of this, but just if you know something. Yeah. Stop me at any point, y'all. So there's a space, not a period. Okay. And I'll put it back on so you can.
Yeah. I think that communicates the purpose of modeling much better and gives a reason for our stars in the standards much better. So.
On a flag, we're at 502. We have a couple options. One, I have to leave at a certain point to pick a child up from childcare, but I could stay on for probably 15, 20 minutes. 2, we can schedule another meeting. Hopefully we could all discuss, if we want to schedule a following meeting, discuss it all on this call so we don't have to wrangle through another 15-part poll. Those are sort of our 2 choices here.
So we need to finish the 4th year introductions and the overall introductions.
Yes, and that should be pretty quick
Mhm.
because this looks exactly like y'all's member reflection. So I think it would be the matter of like putting together a brainstorm to have this ready to go. And for context, this is the culmination of what y'all think the introduction should be. And like, for example, Mindy and Beth for SDC will need to read the K5 and the 681, and then they'll come together and do the copy editing. So this can be as simple as like 1 bullet point per box, essentially. Or it could be more if y'all really want to do something big with the instruction.
I would like to hear from like the boots on the ground people, Debbie and Ash, like those of you, Mindy, y'all been teaching all day to live children. Do you need a break? I mean, y'all tell us.
I'm okay.
I'm fine to keep going if we think we can get it done, but if we think we can't, then I'm fine to schedule another meeting.
Agreed.
I fear it might take longer than 15 minutes.
I think so too.
Yeah, I would say I have a hard stop at probably 5:30.
Yeah.
What other hard stops are? Also,
5:30 would be a good hard stop for me too.
Yeah, we also have some folks on Eastern time, so I want to be mindful of that.
Yeah. That would be 6:30 for me. So
My bedtime's 8:30, y'all.
yeah,
So does that mean we should use this time to try to schedule something else?
I think so.
Because Holly said in the chat she's not able to stay too long.
Mhm.
We're
Okay.
able to continue through a quorum. Like obviously, I have to be here, and then we're able to stay through a quorum. So a quorum for y'all would be 5.
I think we should just reschedule for another time. I just,
I think so too.
yeah.
Yeah, let's
That's
work
fine
out
with
let's work out another meeting time.
Okay, let's.
I like I told Brianna that I'm pretty flexible. I can meet if y'all schedule something. Let me know if I'm in town. I'm good to go, so I can schedule around you all's schedule.
I appreciate you, Kyla. It seems like 3 is kind of the earliest Debbie can do it with her dismissal schedule. Debbie, please correct me if that's not correct, while not, dipping into Beth's bedtime, which is also important. How would folks? I also have to give enough lead time for folks like Vicky and Josh and all of them to put it on the website because we have to get prior notice. So like we couldn't meet for tomorrow, example. That would not be sufficient public notice. We also do have a member of the public with us right now. So based on that, I think that, but I want to recognize that I know it's fresh on y'all's mind. So there's that careful balance. I'm looking at the 12th at 3. I'm looking at the 13th at 3. I'm out tomorrow. So that's the reason why we probably couldn't do Monday. So yeah, I could do Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday at 3. Does
Let's not do Friday.
For sure. Not my preference.
How that would be 4 my time. How long? Wednesday would not be good for me.
Oh yeah. Okay. And that's the thing. We, would love for all of y'all, but the quorum is sort of kind of the bottom line. So that's what 7.
I can do any of those days at that time.
Yeah. So
I can too. I just don't prefer a Friday.
Not either.
No, it's fair. I don't think that's gonna. I mean, I think either way we have an issue with Holly's schedule. So I don't. think
Thursday the
we can talk
13th
about-
at 3. Is that a?
She's traveling the 13th.
Oh, I didn't.
It's in the chat. That's
Oh,
fair.
gotcha.
So, okay. Does anyone else other than Ashley or Holly have a conflict on the 12th or the 13th?
No.
Okay.
And I might be able to be on for like an hour, but I just don't know how late I'll be able to go.
Okay. Then maybe let's go with that. And yeah, Ashley, you leave if you need to. And I'm sorry if you're having over. Let's start with that at 3. And I'm gonna schedule it for 2 hours because like I said, every time I have to add another schedule, it's another ask for Vicky, another ask for Josh on our team. So I'm gonna put it at 2 hours with the understanding that it sounds like we would not need 2 hours. But someone please correct me. And yeah, Ashley, you can do whatever you need to leave.
Is there pre-work that we should do specifically?
I think it might be good if you all look over what has been done on the 4th year overviews and then get reacquainted with the overall introduction to the standards as they are, and so that you can have your ideas ready to put into that table for the supporting language.
Because we don't write that supporting language. Got it. Okay.
you're just filling out that table, which it's in your drive and it looks exactly like your member reflection. So you could just take your member reflection and just put some highlights and then just share those as relevant.
Okay.
The last piece is I would just need someone to come up with that APA citation for whatever those resources that you all cited are. And just be prepared to drop. You can develop that in advance and then just drop it in the document when it's time.
Who has their doctorate on this call? Does someone email me what that's supposed to be?
I think that was Ashley.
Like, are you?
I was gonna
Is
be
it a
quiet.
Dr. Slayton? Oh yeah, Dr. Miller. Hit me up on an APA on that.
I think Dr. Anthony is a doctor. Dr. Anthony.
She is.
I think so, yeah.
I'll be looking for an email for a recommendation.
I'll see if I can work on that too.
Thank you, Ashley.
Okay, so we will do all the things Wednesday the 12th, 3 to 5 Central. Okay, I appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we
Thank
said
you all.
the 13th. I thought Ashley could not do the 12th.
I will do my best to be there at least for
Just
some of it.
the hour. Okay, so the 12th.
I am traveling the 13th through the 23rd. I had put that in the chat.
Yeah. Okay. So the 12th at 3 Central Time. Okay, got it. Sorry.
Yeah. No, all good. And yeah, Ashley, don't, it's all good. Whatever you can make is great. Okay. Bye, all. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you,
guys.
everybody.